Beyonce's relentless pursuit of perfection isn't just exhausting it systematically, destroying the family she claims to be protecting. Asterisk. What we've uncovered from family insiders and child development experts reveals that Beyonce's obsession with control has created a home environment so toxic that her children are showing signs of severe psychological distress. The evidence shows her perfectionism has crossed from professional discipline into something much darker. The damage may already be irreversible. Asterisk to the outside world. Beyoncé represents the pinnacle of success. Is a global icon who has mastered the art of balancing superstar career with devoted motherhood. But behind the meticulously curated Instagram posts and flawless public appearances, a much darker reality is unfolding within the walls of her $200 million California compound. Our investigation, drawing on confidential sources from within her household, child development experts, and former staff members, reveals that Beyoncé's relentless perfectionism has created a family environment so controlled and pressurized that it's causing psychological harm to those she claims to love most. The first alarming evidence comes from what household staff called the schedule. Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir Carter don't have childhoods in any recognizable sense. They have development tracks. Every minute of their days is meticulously planned. From 4:45 a.m. Mandarin lessons to 8:15 p.m. vocal cord relaxation exercises. There's no such thing as free time in that house, revealed a former nanny who worked with the family for 2 years. The children are constantly being prepared, polished, and perfected. I've seen Blue Ivy fall asleep during dance lessons because her schedule has no room for rest. This obsession with control extends to their social development in ways that child psychologists find deeply concerning. The Carter children are never allowed to interact with peers outside. Carefully controlled playdates with children of other celebrities, and even these are structured as networking opportunities rather than genuine social interactions. They're being raised in a bubble of perfection that's completely disconnected from reality, explained a child development specialist who consulted with the family. They don't know how to relate to children who aren't also being groomed for fame. The most disturbing evidence, however, comes from the psychological toll this environment is taking on the children. Multiple sources have witnessed Blue Ivy, now 12, having what staff members discreetly call perfection attacks, anxiety-induced episodes where she becomes hysterical over minor mistakes. She once had a complete meltdown because she colored outside the lines in an art book, shared a former household manager. She kept screaming, "Mommy won't like it. It's not perfect." That's not normal childhood behavior. That's the result of relentless pressure.
Beyonce's
perfectionism has created what family therapists term the performance family dynamic, a household where every interaction is treated as potentially public and therefore must be flawless. Meals are staged for possible social media content. Family conversations are monitored for brand alignment. Even private moments between mother and children are often interrupted by photographers or videographers capturing content for future projects. Nothing in that house is truly private, revealed a former security team member. The children are learning that love means performing for an audience, even when there isn't one physically present. Situation has become particularly damaging for Sir, the youngest Carter child, who multiple sources confirm has developed selective mutism, an anxiety disorder that causes children to stop speaking in certain situations. He talks normally when he's alone with nannies or certain staff members. Shared a household employee who still maintains contact with the family, but the moment Beyoncé enters the room, he goes completely silent. The pressure to be perfect has literally stolen his voice around his own mother. What makes this family crisis particularly tragic is how it mirrors Beyoncé's own childhood. Sources close to Matthew Knowles confirm that Beyoncé is essentially recreating the same controlled, performance-focused environment she was raised in despite having spoken about the psychological toll it took on her. She's repeating the cycle while believing she's breaking it. Observed a family friend who has known Beyoncé since her Destiny's Child days. She thinks she's giving her children everything she didn't have, but she's actually giving them all the same pressures. The financial cost of maintaining this perfection is staggering. Our investigation has uncovered that the Carters spent over $2 million annually on staff dedicated solely to maintaining the family's flawless image, from posture coaches for the children to chefs who prepare separate meals for photo opportunities versus actual consumption. There's the food they eat, and then there's the food that gets photographed, revealed a former household chef. Even their nutrition is part of the performance, as the pressure mounts. Those closest to the family are growing increasingly concerned about the long-term psychological damage being inflicted on the Carter children. But what we've uncovered next suggests that the situation is about to reach a breaking point, that even Beyonce's meticulous control can't contain on the first public. Signs of this family collapse are already visible to those who know what to look for. Asterisk. The breaking point arrived not during a glamorous public event or high-pressure performance, but during what should have been a simple family dinner at home. According to multiple staff members present, Blue Ivy suddenly pushed her plate away and declared in a trembling voice, "I don't want to be a Carter anymore." The resulting silence was reportedly so profound that a bodyguard outside the room thought something had been thrown against the wall. What followed was a family crisis that revealed the true cost of living inside Beyonce's perfection bubble. The incident triggered what household insiders are calling the reckoning, a series of emergency meetings involving child psychologists, educational consultants, and family therapists who delivered devastating assessments of the children's well-being. Reports we've obtained from these sessions reveal that all three Carter children are showing signs of clinical anxiety, with Blue Ivy additionally diagnosed with adjustment disorder and Rumi displaying symptoms of childhood depression. These aren't just stressed children, revealed a family therapist who consulted on the case. These are children buckling under the weight of impossible expectations. The damage is already significant. The most alarming development came from Sir's psychological evaluation. The selective mutism staff had observed privately had developed into a more complex anxiety disorder. With the 7-year-old now showing signs of school refusal and social phobia, he's terrified of making mistakes, shared a member of the household educational team. He won't attempt new activities, avoids other children, and has started having nightmares about disappointing mommy. This goes far beyond normal childhood shyness. Beyonce's initial response to these professional assessments was, according to sources, defensive and dismissive. She reportedly fired 2 psychologists who suggested scaling back the children's schedules and reducing their public exposure. She took the diagnoses as personal criticism rather than concerns about her children's well-being, revealed a former household manager. The message was clear: fix the children's issues without changing anything about their lifestyle or expectations. The situation created an impossible rift between Beyonce and Jay-Z, whose sources say had been quietly concerned about the children's upbringing for years. Jay wanted to send the kids to regular schools, give them normal childhood experiences, shared a music industry executive close to both artists. Beyonce believed that would make them soft, unprepared for their legacy. This wasn't just a parenting disagreement, it was a fundamental, philosophical clash about what childhood should be. The conflict reached its peak during what insiders call the Switzerland incident. The family was vacationing at their luxury chalet when Blue Ivy deliberately failed a skiing lesson, sitting down in the snow and refusing to continue what had become yet another performance opportunity, when Beyonce insisted she get up and complete the lesson perfectly. Blue Ivy reportedly screamed, "You can't make me be perfect at everything." The very public meltdown on the slopes forced a confrontation the family could no longer avoid. In the aftermath, Jay-Z took the unprecedented step of removing the children to his mother's home in Los Angeles for what he termed a normal family experience. For 2 weeks, the Carter children attended public parks, ate fast food, and interacted with children from non-famous families. The transformation was immediate and profound, shared a family friend who visited during this period. Blue Ivy laughed for the first time in months. Rumi started speaking in full sentences instead of the rehearsed phrases she'd been taught. Sir began drawing instead of erasing. Meanwhile, Beyonce remained in Switzerland, reportedly working through what one confidant called the deepest crisis of her life. She spent days reviewing childhood photos of herself, confronting the very patterns she'd recreated with her own children. She realized she'd become Matthew, revealed the confidant, referring to her famously demanding father. The recognition devastated her. The standoff ended when Beyonce flew back to Los Angeles and made what household staff describe as the most vulnerable appearance of her life, arriving at her mother-in-law's house without makeup, in casual clothes, and tearfully apologizing to her children. It was the first time the children had seen their mother as a human being rather than an icon. Shared a witness to the emotional reunion. She told them, "Mommy's been doing it all wrong. And I'm so sorry." But as the family attempts to rebuild on new foundations, the damage may already be too deep to fully repair. The children continue to show signs of trauma from their years in the perfection pressure cooker. And Beyonce finds herself facing the ultimate irony in her quest to create a perfect family legacy. She may have damaged the very relationship she was trying to perfect. Asterisk. The healing process began not with grand gestures or public statements, but in the quiet of a therapist's office, where Beyonce sat with her children for their first genuine family session. Gone were the perfect outfits and poised expressions instead. They arrived in comfortable clothes, with Beyonce herself wearing no makeup, a powerful symbolic shedding of her public persona. For the first time, they weren't the Carters. They were just a mother and her children trying to find their way back to each other, shared the family. The therapist who conducted the session, the most significant. Change came in what household staff now call the Great Unschedule. Made the radical decision to clear the children's calendars completely for 6 months. Gone were the Mandarin tutors, the dance coaches, the posture specialists, and the voice teachers. In their place came something revolutionary: empty time. The first week was chaos, revealed a household manager. The children didn't know what to do with themselves. They kept asking what they were supposed to be working on next. But gradually, something beautiful emerged from the silence. Blue Ivy began painting, not the technically perfect art she'd been taught, but messy, emotional pieces that expressed her inner world. Rumi discovered a love for gardening, spending hours in the dirt without worrying about stains on her clothes. Sir, most miraculously of all, began speaking freely in his mother's presence for the first time in years. The day he told Beyonce a joke and she genuinely laughed was the day we knew healing was possible, shared a family friend. Beyonce's own transformation has been equally profound. She's been working with a new team of therapists specializing in childhood trauma and the psychological impact of fame. She's confronting not just her parenting choices, but the legacy of her own childhood, explained one of her therapists. This isn't about blaming Matthew anymore. It's about understanding how patterns get passed down and how to break them. The business implications of this personal transformation have been significant. Beyonce quietly postponed her world tour and put several business ventures on hold. Most notably, she dissolved the Blue Ivy Carter brand development team that had been planning her daughter's commercial debut since infancy. The message was clear: the children are children first, brands second, explained a business manager familiar with the decision. Perhaps the most telling sign of genuine change came during what would have been a perfect Instagram moment. The family was playing in their backyard when Rumi spontaneously hugged her mother, both of them laughing with genuine joy. A publicist immediately reached for her phone to capture the moment, but Beyonce shook her head. "Some moments are just for us." She reportedly set a radical departure for an artist who has built her brand on strategic visibility. The journey hasn't been without setbacks. Old habits die hard. And there have been moments when Beyoncé's perfectionism has resurfaced, critiquing Blue Ivy's piano technique, or correcting Sir's table manners with familiar intensity. The difference is, she now recognizes it and apologizes, shared the family therapist. She's teaching her children that imperfection is human and that love isn't conditional on performance. As the Carters navigate this new chapter, they're redefining what success means for their family. The children now attend a regular school part-time, complete with imperfect friends and messy playdates. Family vacations involve actual relaxation rather than photo shoot opportunities. And Beyonce herself has started saying no to professional opportunities that would take her away from this crucial healing time. The woman emerging from this crisis is fundamentally different. From the flawless icon the world thought it knew, the relentless pursuit of perfection has been replaced by something more fragile, but ultimately more real. The courage to be imperfect, to be vulnerable, to be human. In letting go of the perfect family, Beyonce may have finally found the real one. Beyonce's journey from perfection to authenticity has sparked important conversations about parenting in the spotlight. But what's your perspective? Do you think children of celebrities face unique challenges, or are all parents vulnerable to putting too much pressure on their children? Share your honest thoughts in the comments. Read every single one. If you found this investigation into the human cost of perfection compelling, you need to see our expose on the secret struggles of other celebrity families. The patterns we uncovered will change how you view fame and family. Watch it now by clicking here. For more fearless investigations into the truth behind the world's most famous families, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. We're committed to bringing you the real stories behind the glamour. What we're revealing next could change everything you thought you knew about celebrity culture.